The following broadcast is intended for entertainment purposes only and should not be taken seriously by anyone. Viewer discretion advised. If you got nowhere to go, watch the Pocket Horror Show. Pocket Horror Show. Pocket Horror Show. Hey, Mom, close the door. All right, once again, coming at ya. This is the Pocket Horror Show, broadcasting as always from the Parts Unknown Studio Syndicate. Yo.
Wait. Where's the music?
It doesn't matter where the music is, because it's coming. Let me tell you something. This is your benevolent host, the Pocketman, the Twin Weasel.
And I'm Eddie Horror.
And today we're coming at you with the top 5 theme songs of all classic wrestling.
Now, typically there's music playing in the background, but for this case, we don't have it. For that exact reason, we're going to play multiple songs. Each shows 5 songs. We'll talk about some honorable mentions at the very end. But that's why there's nothing in the background. Something new for us. And why are you wearing headphones? That's me.
Yeah, you know, that's a new thing. I just want to make sure that we sound right. So coming in at my number 5 is one of the greatest wrestlers. I think he was One Man Gang first. And then he disappeared and then came back. The rebirth straight out of Africa. I'm talking about Hakeem, the African Dream.
An homage to Slick and his style and the way he was. You know, the Doctor style Slick. One of the best dressers. Just one of the coolest characters in wrestling ever. As a manager, he was the funniest guy. He cheated for his people. He always managed bad guys and whatnot, and always did what he had to do to help them win and, gain what they had to gain.
He was the doctor of style. I mean, I think I get my style from copying Slick. That's when I grew up watching him. So, hey, is he still alive? Is he still
he's still alive. That's right. He's actually a pastor and has been a pastor for very many years. So, I don't think he praises his old style when during this time, the Jive Soul Bro, as he was called. But he's a good character, great guy, man. Just, I wish we had more characters like that on TV. Just outlandish, kind of stereotypical. But, there's too many PC lines there that people don't want to cross.
Way too many. All right, so that's my number 5.
My number 5, I knew I had to start strong. But when I hear this song, I think of the energy that comes from the crowd. I think of the energy from the one and only Legion of Doom.
What a rush!
One of my favorite parts of this song is it's a rock song. It's a metal song. It's a song that when you heard it, you knew these guys with shoulder pads on the face page with spikes on their shoulder pads are coming out, and you knew someone was going to get their ass kicked. And it was rarely ever the Legion of Doom who got their ass kicked. They did the ass kicking.
That's true. Now, I remember when they came out, I think they were, Road Warriors?
Road Warriors in other organizations before the WWF at the time, now WWE, but yeah.
Well, they were fantastic. I mean, they were one of the top tag teams. They came out right away, shot to world champions. So what can we say about a Hawk and Animal, right?
They paid their dues in other organizations before they're starting WWF. And, unfortunately, Hawk had some real-life demons that he battled, passed away a few years ago.
Did he?
Rest in peace, Hawk. But the legend that is the Legion of Doom will never be forgotten. And one funny thing, when they were coming over and they weren't going to go by the Road Warriors, they were going to go by the Legion of Doom, they were like, well, what name do we choose? And they saw the cartoon. The superheroes, Legion of Doom, like, let's do that. That'll be funny. Little did they know it would stick and grow their legend even more. So the Legion of Doom, what a rush. My number 5.
All right, coming in at my number 5 is one of the most flamboyant, most colorful tag team partners of all time. Coming in with the Rick the Modern Martel, but I don't think he was called that at the time, and he teamed up with Tito Santana, right? Coming in, who I think did Spanish announcing later on. I'm talking about the 2 and only Strike Force with a song, Girls in Cars. Oh, this is so good.
It's so 80s. It's who they were. It's what they were. It's that time. Amazing.
I can hear this song playing at the 80s club. Did they play it? I'd be dancing at the 80s club. Like, if they play Girls in Cars.
I could see this in, like, Top Gun or something.
Yeah. True. Good movie song.
Very catchy hook. Although Jimmy Hart didn't sing this recording here, he did go on to perform it live and later re-record it with his voice and just You know, Jimmy Hart, classic singer.
Girls in cars.
The video's even funnier. So if you get a chance, check out Girls in Cars.
And you can imagine these guys coming out ready to wrestle. And then this song comes. What was that? I mean, when you look at UFC today, people they come out with like a "I'm gonna knock you out" kind of song. So anyway, I think that's one of the best, not wrestling theme songs. Period.
You know what I look for in a theme song is really something that describes who you are, and the characters they portrayed were these model like, hey, we're good looking, hey, we're tough, hey, we'll take your girl and take her around in our car. Therefore, Girls in Cars. That was their thing.
All right, so that's my number 4.
My number 4 comes in as it's very comedic now, but at the time when I would hear this song, I would always be mad because this was a bad guy. And from what I remember, as his character, he was always a bad guy. The one and only, the $1 Million Man. And you know, you knew nothing good was going to come out when you heard this theme song. You knew you were going to hate the guy, but you know what? Looking back, I loved it. I love this song. How hilarious. Money, money, money. Everybody's got a prize. I'm telling you, this is hilarious. Because the $1 Million Man
I always get my way.
always gets his way. The
Great
$1 Million
song.
Man, yeah, great song, great character.
Oh my god, that video is awesome too.
It's the best of what 80 luxury in the 80s can get you. Remember, he wasn't a champion. He wanted his own belt, so he made the $1 million belt made of gold and diamonds. And of course, since we know wrestling's real, that belt was really worth $1 million.
Absolutely.
A character I will never forget, a theme song I will never forget. I find it very comedic. And you know what's funny? I've got a friend that's getting married end of this year, early next year sometime. And we jokingly talk about wearing tuxedo print t-shirts. Apparently, they make $1 Million Man tuxedo print t-shirts now.
Nice. So memorable. I mean,
Yeah.
as soon as you hear it, you know what's coming on. So make sure you don't get the next thing.
No,
come on.
good.
But yeah, so that's my number 3 is one of the best tag teams of all time in wrestling. They've came out in a time where I think it was perfect for them. It was the 80s. It was heavy metal. It was spikes.
I already got Legion of Doom. What are you talking about?
I'm talking about the 2 and only, the Demolition. Part King Diamond, part homoerotica. How can you get any better?
This is like I was telling him, I could see Metallica doing this song.
Oh yeah, dude. Musically, are you kidding me? This song rocks, dude. Even today.
Yeah, Demolition was one of those teams that was always scary. You know, not that they copied their gimmick from Legion of Doom. Of course not. No one copied gimmicks each other, or no one copied each other's gimmicks back then, right? But they still kept it somewhat original, more, you know, erotic. But hey, that was their thing, I guess. They later added Crush, Kona Crush.
That's right.
And hey, their manager, one of the best ever, Mr. Fuji.
That's right. Dude, this song is just freaking. It just rocks on for any era. Judas Priest, whoever. I mean, I'm surprised no one really covered this song in concert or something.
Hey, this is a great song. You know, wrestling today, especially back then, was very gimmicky. So you think of something like that. I mean, wrestling crossed a lot of barriers. You know, I think of Hulk Hogan and Rick Derringer singing
Oh yeah.
Real American. That was never heard of. You know, nowadays, well, not nowadays, but in the last 10, 15 years, you got Motorhead doing the theme song for Triple H. A lot of bands now do theme songs that the wrestlers, either they adapt or write them specifically for the wrestler. That was not common back then. So to think of what a Metallica could have done back then, or a Judas Priest, like you said, or
Who sang this, by the way?
I don't know, but those are some vocals, some rock vocals.
Dude, that's some raw vocals. You know, someone should do like a YouTube video doing like wrestling music medleys and wear costumes and play guitar and sing. That might be kind of fun. I don't know.
Coming soon.
So that's my number 3.
My number 3, when I think of this song, I think of pure energy. And I've said something similar to Legion of Doom, but this, I think of raw energy, made you want to get off your seat. if you were lucky, you would catch this guy running because this guy was so quick when he went to the ring. Another great rock song. Instrumental. I think we played this once or twice at a show in our band. I'm sure we did. Anyways, raw energy, crowd's excited. You can't wait to see him shaking the rope, running up and down, having the tassels on his arm. That's how I thought I would show my muscles when I was a kid. Tight tassels right at the top of the bicep to show somewhat of a bulge. Saying, yeah, work out, like 7 or 8 years old. Of course, it didn't work out.
Damn, this song still gets me pumped.
I'm telling you, this is a great song right before you work out or go for a run. This is the song you want to hear. It gets you pumped up. For me, it brings me back to those memories as a kid. Him beating Hulk Hogan. Him beating up on the Honky Tonk Man when no one had that opponent at SummerSlam 88. Dude, I'm telling you, this is a song. It's my number 3, The Ultimate Warrior. Very easy to play. If you're a musician guitarist, it's very simple to play.
Oh, man. I mean, if you're an opponent and you're going to fight this guy, you hear that song come on,
you're done.
Run for your life.
You're done. You might as well go home. You know he's going to body press you, jump back and forth in your ropes, hopefully land on you when he jumps on you.
Oh, my God.
Rest in peace, Ultimate Warrior.
Forgot about this one. That's a good one. Oh, that's a good one. All right, coming in at my number 2 is a tag team, a very forgettable tag team, I would say. I mean, I didn't even remember them until I started hearing old wrestling theme songs. I'm like, oh, man. The theme song was actually really good, and this is one of those songs, again, that I think you can hear at the 80s Club anytime. Oh, dude. I can definitely hear that at the 80s Club right now.
Maybe because I know whose theme song it is, and I never liked those guys. They always have stupid looks on their faces.
Oh, yeah.
And I didn't get the lyrics.
The Canadian tag team, the Fabulous Rougeau Brothers.
The French Canadians from Quebec, with their manager, the Mouth of the South, Jimmy Hart.
All American Boys.
No,
American Boys.
Definitely not All American Boys. They were, they were out mid 80s. I was just a little kid, man. I vaguely remember them. Of course, I remember the name, and the one dude became the Mountie.
Did he? Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that's the Mountie.
Oh, damn.
Then they became they were Mounties, but their theme song was "We're Not the Mounties." I forgot what they were called. You remember that? No.
I vaguely remember.
Look up the Mountie and all his tag teams. He'll be in there.
Who wrote this song?
I have no idea.
This is a hit. Oh, dude. Rocking guitar, so probably Jim Johnson.
Jim Johnson, which we'll talk about in a few. Much respect to him, but
let's talk about him now.
The Fabulous Rougeau Brothers. Jim Johnson is the architect of a lot of the theme songs you hear now and have heard in the past. Jim Johnson, many degrees from different schools. My brother actually searched him because we were just so intrigued with the music he wrote. His ability to capture a character through music is just amazing. There's been many revisions to his music, but every update just gets better and better. Our focus is kind of on original stuff and kind of first versions of it, at least for the most part. But Jim Johnson, oh my goodness, homage to him. Lots of respect to him. He's the reason why I have a lot of great memories. Because I don't know if you remember this, but back in the old wrestling days, not all wrestlers had a theme song. Not till probably the very late 80s.
Really?
Or maybe very early 90s, somewhere around there. Every wrestler had a theme song, but not every wrestler did. Sometimes they'd come out to nothing.
Are you talking about the chumps, the jobbers? Or?
Not just the jobbers. Some of the better guys too. When they were newer, maybe not fully established, but they weren't jobbers. They were newer. They have their promos and everything. But yeah, man, it was very different time. Not every wrestler had a theme, but Jim Johnson has done such a great job with the music. It's just he's created so many memories for very many of us that listen to this.
That was my number 2.
My number 2. I've got a question for you.
What?
Bet you can't guess what song that was. So here's question number 2.
If you smell what the Rock is cooking.
Maybe not a question so much as a comment. When I think of wrestling themes, not only does it have to be a good song, it's got to bring back those memories. For me, The Rock was one of those wrestlers that always gave you great memories. When when he was rocking my Via, you love to hate him. You're like, who's this chump? Third generation superstar? He's a chump. Look at him. He looks funny. I don't care about him.
He was a baby face. He had that weird haircut when he came out, I remember.
Had some weird outfit, too. Then, he became a bad guy, and people started liking him, and he was just the funniest guy in wrestling.
Yeah.
To this day, I don't think there's ever been a funnier guy. Now, there's been funny moments with different wrestlers that are just classic, but as a wrestler, as an entertainer, no one more funny.
Well, what about the music? What about the song? Why is that your number 2?
It's number 2. I actually saw an interview with Jim Johnson, and he said when he thought about this theme song for The Rock, he was thinking, third generation. He thought about horns, grand entrance. And that's what I think of when I listen to The Rock. Even before I saw that interview, I go, okay, this guy has like a entrance, just a standard, just a anthem that he's coming out to.
Oh, it's memorable. You hear that.
And that's what I think of. And yeah, there's been very many variations of this song. This isn't even the original song, but...
And you know what I love, actually? I think, is that the... No. When a wrestler actually is in his own theme song, when he comes out, if you smell... just like Ted DiBiase had his voice on it, stuff like that. Another one which didn't make our list, so I'm going to talk about him now, the Heartbreak Kid, Shawn Michaels. And he said that's a good one. But
the earlier version was Sensational Sherry, if you remember.
Oh, okay, yeah, that's true.
Yeah, Shawn Michaels had a great one, and there's one that neither one of us have, but the one theme song that's arguably, that many people would say is the best, definitely of the 80s, possibly of all time, is Hulk Hogan's Real American. It's not on our list, but I thought, everyone's going to say, when Hogan comes out, that's what you think of.
I am a real American.
I didn't put it on my list. It was almost too easy. It was almost too easy.
Yeah,
because you knew that's a theme that, and some would argue that maybe The Rock was too easy. Maybe, but I think of the memories from when The Rock would come out with his music. And there's a couple more we didn't have. Stone Cold, that's a big one. I didn't have it on my list. You didn't have it on your list. Are there any others you could think of?
Well, you know what? Let me just get to my number 1 and let me tell you why I picked this number 1. Maybe they weren't the best wrestlers out there. Maybe they weren't the best tag team out there. They didn't have the best moves, whatever it was. But one thing they had an amazing theme song that, not only was it really cool in wrestling, but I think it's an instant G-Funk classic. I can roll down the street right now in parts unknown. My windows roll down. Dude.
You know what this song reminds me of? Maybe about 10 years ago on TV, there'd be these commercials.
You look fly today.
These commercials were like best of the 90s hip hop, where not the superstars would be on there, but maybe the guys that needed money or the lower superstars, I wish I was a baller. He was always on those best of the 90s hip hop. That's where I think this song would be. I'm not saying it's a bad song. Is it my number 1?
That's just
no
a
way.
jam right here, dude. Hold up. It's that smooth ass bass line right there.
I'm not saying it's not. It's a cool song. Not my number 1 for sure. Maybe my 101. I don't think, oh my God, too cool. Those memories,
The worm, the hip hop drop.
That Grandmaster Sexay I thought it was the biggest douchebag ever, dude. I'm not gonna lie. Rikishi was funny. He went through all his characters. I always had respect for Rikishi. Look at them. They look like...
Anyway, that's my number 1, man. This is hardcore G-Funk. This is Gangsters Against right here, boy. Oh, man.
I don't know about that. I don't know if the local gang here in Parts Unknown would agree with you, but hey, to each his own, right?
All right.
My number 1, I've stated this before, if you've seen other shows, my favorite wrestler of all time. Just when you heard this theme, you knew just damage was coming to someone. Usually it wasn't him that got his ass kicked. Usually it was the others that got their ass kicked. But very scary at first. When he was a bad guy, this was his theme song. When he eventually became good, there's been many variations of this song. But ultimately, the Dead Man, the Undertaker, is at my number 1. The memories I have of just everyone being scared, being led to the ring by Paul Bearer, having the urn, grabbing his power from the urn, and we could talk all day about the different storylines and matches he's had, but when I think this song, I think of The Undertaker, I think of my childhood, I think of the best time I ever had was watching wrestling, because it kept me entertained. You know, looking back, the reason we decided to do this video blog on classic wrestling, it wasn't because, hey, let's just do it about it. We got together, we're like, what made us laugh? What are we passionate? What do we like? What do we like to share? What did we have fun doing or watching? And it always came back to classic wrestling. So when I hear The Undertaker's theme song, all of that and more comes back to me.
Classic song. Like you said, he had a lot of themes. He had American Badass when he did Fred Durst. But this really, when he came out, he was special. Scared a lot of people, and I think it hit us at the right time when we were at that impressionable age where we were like, "Whoa,
this guy's dead." You know, this he was a zombie before Walking Dead was ever out. You know,
right on.
And those bells, you know, this isn't Hell's Bells by AC/DC, by the way. This is the Undertaker's theme song. Just that simple, melodic song. It's just amazing. Just, you know, for me, I've always been a fan of the horror genres, and
he's from Parts Unknown.
He is from Parts Unknown. No, he's from Death Valley.
Oh yeah, Death Valley.
Although
right.
it's only about 20 minutes from here, so we're practically neighbors.
You know what? I always wonder, like, you know, as a kid, like, is this what he listened to in his time off? Like, when he wasn't wrestling, would he be playing, like, just death?
He was an Undertaker. He buried graves. What else do you listen to in the middle of the night?
I guess so.
You know, just, again, a great character, a great theme song. My number one, just because it just takes me back to that time when I was a kid. And I loved watching wrestling every week on Superstars, or if we were lucky enough to catch a pay-per-view at a friend's or a family member's house, and, you know, you'd go to the market, you read your pro wrestling magazines and see who was coming up. It just, all those fun times. I think this song, that's the time of my life I think about. So my number one, the one and only, the dead man, The Undertaker.
All right, well, that's all the time we have for today. We'll see you next time on the Pocket Horror Show. Keep it real. You look fly today, remember all that. So, peace out.